In the opening paragraph for his 1953 article for Harper's Bazaar, John Steinbeck wrote, "I first heard of Positano from Alberto Moravia. It was very hot in Rome. He said, 'Why don't you go down to Positano on the Amalfi Coast? It is one of the finest places in Italy.' So Steinbeck did just that." But because I hate being that cliche guy that tries to relive the adventures of other writers for himself, I skipped Positano and went straight to the town of Amalfi on the Amalfi Coast.
So Amalfi, it's this beautiful little seaside town along the coast that bears its name. The town of Amalfi itself is, again, very beautiful as you walk through. It's very picturesque. If you were going to come here, make sure you explore some of the side streets. This is a very old medieval seaside town that has all sorts of tunnels that were used to escape if there was ever a pirate raid. Some of the towns and structures here date back to the 9th and 10th century, so a lot of history, a lot of really cool structures, and a lot of cool history here. It's definitely worth exploring and just wandering through the back streets, because that's where you'll really find just some really, really cool and unique spots. You'll find some cool restaurants that you just would have never seen on the main strip. And unfortunately, we made the mistake of going into the main strip and eating at a really, really crappy restaurant. It was just one of those things where we're just too hungry and we just don't want to walk around anymore. So this will do. And we went in, and obviously, food wasn't great.
Today apparently is the feast day of San Andrea, or St. Andrew, which is the patron saint of Amalfi. So there's fireworks, which I don't really understand because it's noon, and fireworks usually do better at nighttime. But maybe that's just the way they do things in Amalfi. So is Amalfi worth a visit? We got in on the ferry last night. We checked into our Airbnb, had dinner in the town. Went for a quick dip in the beach, I guess. I don't want to say ocean, but I know it's not an ocean. And yeah, so far it's great, but a couple things. The beaches are split into private and public areas. So if you're going to be in a private area where we are, we're paying 30 euros for the chair and the umbrella to be here all day, I guess. Then you got to eat, you got to factor in food and whatnot. The public area is obviously public and therefore free, but also public and therefore free. So, security is probably a bit more of a concern. You're not going to obviously have food brought to you, and things like that.
When you consider the alternatives to paying those 30 euros, for me it's worth it, and you can make a decision for yourself. But the alternative is you have a very narrow, small little area of public beach that you can go to. You have no umbrella, so you have to provide your own. So you either have to buy one. There's no shade for you. And in the Mediterranean sun, you're going to need some shade. For a day at the beach, for me, it's cool. Yeah, I can do that for one day. I couldn't do that every day. I wouldn't do that for multiple days. But considering that this was going to be our one day, full day at the beach, let's make it as comfortable as possible. So the beach itself here in Amalfi, it's very pebbly. It makes getting in and out of the water very uncomfortable, not just because of the pain of trying to navigate rocks on your feet, but also those rocks get really, really hot. Make sure you bring a pair of flip-flops or some kind of footwear or water shoes, I guess, would help. So it's not a sandy beach, which is fine if you know that going in, and you know that you're not going to get a white, sandy, fine-grained beach, then that's fine. It's a perfectly good beach other than that.
Water's a little cool. I think it's a good temperature because it's so hot. It's nice to have like a cool water. View spectacular. Yeah, what can you say? I need to work on this farmer's tan that I got going on. My chest, I don't think, has been exposed to the sun since maybe a year. So, you know, hopefully now we can finally even out some of this tan because my arm looks really dark. And then I got this, you know, white shoulder thing going on. Oh man, good times. Let's go for a little dip. You can find a good price Airbnb, like around $100 Canadian, $100 US, but you're gonna be climbing up that cliff every time you wanna go back to your Airbnb, which we're like halfway up on like regular stairs, I guess, and even that kind of gets tiresome after a while. So I wouldn't want to go any much further than that, and that's where you really start getting into like the more discount Airbnbs. The hotels right along the beach, you're looking at what, $400-500 a night. You might want to just get a better hotel and stay less days, or get a cheaper place and stay more days. I don't know, it's up to you, but that's what it is.
Things are a little bit more expensive here. Menu items in Amalfi generally come with a 1 to 3 euro premium at the restaurants versus what we've seen in prices elsewhere in the country. So it is going to be a little bit more expensive. Cabs are definitely going to be more expensive. We paid 15 euro for literally like a 3-minute cab ride. But again, when you consider what the alternative is, it would have been arriving at the port and then carrying our 50-pound luggage in a very vertical fashion up these hills and up through stairs. So yeah, we paid the 15 euros. And like, again, this is becoming, it starts to add up. So it becomes a very expensive place. I thoroughly enjoyed my time here. I've always wanted to sort of see this part of the Italian coast, and I'm glad I got to do it this time. Now, would my experience be as enjoyable if it was like a normal tourist season and the normal amount of travel that was happening in the world? I don't know that I would. I don't know that like if there was like the same amount of tourists that come here like pre-COVID, if that level of tourism was happening in this town right now, I don't know that I would have enjoyed it as much. But I did enjoy it, and it was just a beautiful town. You know, shout out to our Airbnb host. I'll put a link in the description to this Airbnb, just because I think Antonetta was an amazing host, and you know, if you get the chance to come to this part of the world, this is a great Airbnb. It's reasonably priced, and it's not too far from the action, so to speak. So now we're leaving Amalfi, we're leaving the coast, and we have to do the whole travel day in reverse. Ferry to Salerno, train to Napoli, and then Napoli to Rome. Thank you for watching. And just like those kids did down by the port, they subscribed. I think they're made a very smart decision, so I think you should do it too. And we'll see you in the next video. Ciao ragazzi!